So my name is Janice Nüuel, commonly referred to as Cannabis Janice recently. And I am a registered dietitian nutritionist. I've been practicing that all my career. I've written 5 books, 5 cookbooks. I had a food blog. I did food photography, recipe development. I had a podcast that we had 300 episodes, but it's not intoxicating. There's also CBN, CBG. There are the acid forms, THC, CBD, but there are 100. These are just the most common ones. Terpenes. Terpenes are the part of the plant that give the aroma, the smell. So that's why each cannabis plant smells differently. But these terpenes are very, very powerful. They have medicinal value. So when people say, well, I'm going to take a pharmaceutical, I'm just going to take an isolate of CBD or THC, I'm thinking you're missing the whole point, the whole plant. It's like me saying to someone as a dietitian, you should probably take a vitamin A supplement instead of saying you should eat broccoli, because broccoli has a lot more than just vitamin A. So pulling out the CBD or the THC to me is not the way to go. Okay, there are also flavonoids. This canaflavin A has more anti-inflammatory properties than aspirin. So all of the components of the cannabis plant work together, and that's why it's so good for us. Cannabis versus hemp, I have people ask me this. Again, a lot of you know this. It's hemp if it's got less than 0.3% THC. But then within the hemp world, there are hemp varieties that are much higher in the cannabinoids. But that's the general rule. It's got to be less than 0.3%. Back in the day when I was in college, marijuana was maybe 3 or 4% THC. Now you can get marijuana cannabis that's upwards of 30% THC. So it's much more potent now than it was back then. Indica versus sativa. I know a lot of times people say, oh, the sativa is uplifting and the indica is indicouch. And that's sort of a little bit of an old-fashioned way to look at it because there are so many hybrids that you can't just classify them that way. You really have to look at the cannabinoid profile of the variety of cannabis that you're getting. And depending on what your goal is with cannabis, you want to look at it and say, okay, I can't sleep, so I want some CBN in my cannabis. Okay, so that's what you would look for. CBD. Boy, CBD is everywhere. Cannabidiol, it's one of the cannabinoids in cannabis. So CBD influences the neurotransmitters, okay, in our brain and in our body, and it decreases pain. It regulates cytokine release, which we're not going to get into, and it's neurocalming. So CBD can calm your nerves, which is why people use it for anti-anxiety. It also helps increase serotonin levels by working with the receptors. That's another way that it decreases the anxiety. It also decreases anandamide breakdown, which we're going to get to in a minute. So that's CBD. And then THC. THC does have psychoactivity, but it also offers a lot of medical benefits. People tend to say, oh, CBD only, THC is bad. THC has a lot of medical benefits. It also has psychoactivity, which some people do not like. A lot of patients that I work with say, I don't want to get high, they're older. And I say, first of all, you don't have to get high if you have some THC. As long as you have enough CBD to balance it, then you'll be okay. So that's something that we really have to let people know. CBD is enough for some people, for what they have, the conditions that they have, but I have a glioblastoma patient. The receptors for THC are in your brain, and that's where her tumor is. So I told her, you need some THC. And she was fine with that. She takes CBD during the day, and then at night, she smokes or vapes so that she can get the THC for her brain.